But I just want to hit on one thing before we get started here, just so everybody remembers.
All right, everybody. Regina Gonzalez breaking in here. If you are not seeing a 2-minute commercial break on our show right now, I do want to let you know that we are currently listening in to a live press conference regarding a missing 11-year-old girl out of Florida who has been found safe. So let's listen in.
We saw so much good come out last night, overwhelming good that helped us find her. But unfortunately, I'm sitting there with detectives, I'm looking at some of the comments, and they're putting down this young girl because of her looks. And I want to put this out there. Unless you walked on water, and there was only one on this earth that ever did that, you don't throw stones at people. You don't make those type of comments. Think about the life she's gone through, and if you have to make a negative comment, just turn your computer off, turn your phone off, walk away. There's young girls in our community, there's young children in our community that need help. And so I just want to put that out there that, we have to defend this young girl. We have to protect this young girl. We have to hope the best for her future, and putting her down does nothing to help us. We've arrested numerous people so far in this investigation. This is a tragic story, but with a good ending, and we have it goes back to last night, that video we put out about the 7-Eleven, the individuals that were involved, we were able to make arrests. Their names are Reginald Clark, he's 19 years old, from Jacksonville, Florida. The other individual is Jonathan McGregor, 17 years old. So the connection between Montana and these two individuals is that we believe it was online connection through social media. They connected through each other. We think there may have been other means. That's through our investigation. We're going to be looking that up, but we know there's online communication. It turns out, from the information we got yesterday from one of the students, was that Montana made contact with these individuals, said to pick her up at that location, which is right by her school. Both those two individuals, so far, those charges are interference with child custody, which is a felony. Last night we were able to, through those investigative leads, through those interviews, we were able to find out that, 11-year-old child in Montana was at the house of 22-year-old Luis Alberto Encarnacion. He is 22, his date of birth is 3/9/1999, and he's in Tampa. He was found by Pasadena Avenue. I want to thank the Tampa Police Department for their assistance, along with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I want to put this out there. In her mind, she's an 11-year-old child. And if you think of most 11-year-old kids, they have imaginations, they think of things. In her mind, she thought Lewis was her boyfriend. We all know that that's not real. That's not real that an 11-year-old has a 22-year-old boyfriend. What is real is that Lewis, this 22-year-old, acted like a predator on this little child. This is something that's societal. We have to fight against this, where adults, go after these young kids. They act like predators against these young children and lead them down a horrible path. So, for her to make that statement, it's an 11-year-old child. These are kids that are playing on playground, playing with toys, doing things, and this 11-year-old in her mind thought this. And I can only believe she thought that because in her life, with numerous adverse childhood experiences, she's looking for that rock to hold on to. She's looking for that stability. And I don't know, we're going through interviews now, but I'm just imagining that in her world, she thought that this was probably that one person that really loved her. But in reality, this was the predator that was going to use her. I also want to clarify a couple things. She does reside in Thonatasassa in Hillsborough County, but she goes to school in River Ridge. She's not in the custody of parents or any other family member. We will be getting, out the booking photos. We'll be getting out the arrests. I can tell you for Lewis right now, the charges are pending. We're working right now to find out jurisdictionally where's the best avenue, the best path to go down. But, for next steps right now, I go back to there's the investigative part. We're working with that. The most critical part of this whole thing, is working with Montana. Getting her the resources she needs, getting her the help she needs. We can't as a society just turn around and say, oh, we found her, she's safe now. This girl is, for 11 years, her whole entire life, she's been going through one adverse childhood experience to another. this is a societal issue. We can't just, brush off and say we found her, it's okay. She needs intensive care. She needs intensive help. The other one too is, for our parents out there, talk to your children. Talk to your children about numerous things. One is about human trafficking issues. The other one is the fact that, the kids can say, oh, I'm not involved in that. But if somebody asks for your phone, your tablet, something, and says, hey, I want to borrow this, that may be a clue that, hey, I mean to help this person out. Let me find out what they're doing. Just don't take it for face value that someone just borrowed your device and you let it go. So those are things that, you need to be a part of to look at. Again, I want to thank all our community. Our community was phenomenal. I thank the media. You guys pushed out the message far and wide throughout the nation. It got out there because we didn't know if she was going to Georgia. That was one of the comments she had made to somebody, and we didn't know if she was right here in her own backyard in Tampa Bay, which she was. Thank you for that. Thank our Lord again. I ask that He blesses Montana because she's going to need all the blessings, all of us, we can all give her and that the Lord can give her. And at the same time, partnerships, all the different agencies involved. So I want to bring up here, Special Agent in Charge Mark Brunel, the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. From the very moment this thing kicked off, they were there for us, they were working with us, and I want to thank them very much because without those strong law enforcement partnerships, without those community partnerships, we would not have been successful. So with that, Mark.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, I'm Mark Brunel with FDLE. I just wanted to echo what the Sheriff said. This was a complete team effort and also good old-fashioned police work. The regional response from Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Pasco County Sheriff's Office, Tampa PD, FDLE, was complete teamwork. This 11-year-old child was in harm's way for a number of hours. The great effort by everyone together, collectively, had a very good, successful resolution. And without that teamwork, I'm afraid we might have had some bad news, but we don't. So, again, she's an 11-year-old child who desperately needs some help in a lot of areas, and I applaud the Sheriff for his diligence in that arena. And again, we're just glad it was a good ending. Thank you.
Is there anything we could answer at this time? Unfortunately, there will be some things I'm going to say it's still under investigation with.
Sheriff, you had mentioned that there could be a possibility that this was a human trafficking case. Do you still believe that this could have led to or was in the process of becoming a human trafficking case? And if it was, does she understand the severity of that?
I go back to, let me answer the end of your question. So first, the severity of it. This is an 11-year-old girl. This is a child. This is one of those heartbreaking cases that, you'll live with for a long time. You'll remember. I don't think she understands. I'd say her mom is in county jail. Her dad is nowhere in the picture. She has gone from one adverse childhood experience to another. And that's why I go back to those people that are putting rude comments on there. You have no idea what this girl's gone through in life. I don't think she has a clue. I think she's looking for that stability. She's looking for that rock. She's looking for love. She's looking for caring nature that most kids are given in life. She has never been. As to this investigation, we're going to find out what's going on. There have been indications in the past. There have been cases, things that we worked on in the past that what she's had been going through in the past. Are there indications? Yes, unfortunately, there are indications. I can't get through it because that's part of the investigation we're going through. But yes, it's one of those things that, this 22-year-old man, I go back to that. It's a 22-year-old man. This is not, a 13-year-old kid with an 11-year-old child. This is a 22-year-old man. There is no logical sense for a 22-year-old man to be with an 11-year-old child unless there was horrific things that were going to continue to go on in that place.
Where is Montana right now, and will she be returned to the guardians who were in custody of her when this all started?
So Montana right now is in the custody. She's still with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office along with the Pasco Sheriff's Office. She's still in Hillsborough County. That's something we're working on right now. I want to thank our Child Protective Investigation Unit. They do a phenomenal job. They're working with the state right now. What we're trying to do is get her the best location possible for a long term. This is not a situation, I go back to, this is a societal issue where you're dealing with kids that, going from one place to another, and there's no stability. She needs strong stability. She needs a home or location somewhere that she can be in, and she needs intense therapy probably. She needs intense supervision. She needs to stay off the social media and make sure she's nowhere near anybody who give her social media. she needs to be, this is a long-term strategy. And as I said, as a sheriff's office, we recognize that. And so we have that motto that we're going to constantly go upstream. Go upstream to find out why these issues occurred. And so what we're going to try to do is go upstream as much as we can with our fellow partners in the social services and get her the services that she needs so that she does not turn into somebody that constantly is going into the cycle. We do not want Montana back into this vicious cycle again.
And she didn't need any medical attention. There were no injuries or anything of that nature?
Not that I know of at this time.
Sheriff, the 3 men that were arrested, were they all together when they were arrested, or were the 2 men just transporting her to the 22-year-old house?
So that's part of the investigation we're going through right now. So the two men that picked her up at the 7-Eleven took her to another location within Hillsborough County. At that point, our detectives went to that location, talked to them, interviewed them. They did not have her. She ends up she was actually at Lewis's house, with the assistance of Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Tampa Police Department, and the Pasco Sheriff's Office, FDLE. We sat on that location. We were able to find out that she was there, talk to neighbors, she was there. So the connection, we believe, is that we're trying to figure out, we think that she talked to those individuals and said, hey, pick me up at school. But on another social media platform or another time, she had talked to Lewis. So she had asked those 2 to drop her off at Lewis's place. We're trying to figure out right now, is there a connection between those two men and Lewis? That's part of the investigation now. I go back to, there's probably many people that are going, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But this is what law enforcement deals with all day long. This is what social services deal with all day long. But we're trying to connect those dots. We're trying to figure out why that occurred. But I go back to, this is just a tragic situation. But thank God we have this 11-year-old child back right now, and we can get her the help she needs.
Sheriff, can you say what social media platform app she met Lewis, or she met these 2 gentlemen? Was it one specifically?
She was on numerous different platforms. We'll get that to you once the investigation, we get it all rolled out.
Sheriff, does Lewis have any priors? And when you mentioned a possible link between him and human trafficking, were you referring to Lewis, or were you referring to her being involved?
The past of the victim, that's what we're referring to.
Okay.
Yeah, he has, from my understanding, he has just minor charges. However, I go back to an individual, an adult that wants to get linked up with a minor. There is some serious questions now that this may be unfolding to a bigger investigation, and we'll be able to start, working with our partners, FDLE, Hillsborough Sheriff's Office, Tampa, start trying to figure out what else is this individual involved in.
How important was it if this was an ongoing relationship, if they'd met up before, or if this was like a first-time thing?
So from the messages, from the information we're gathering, she considered him her boyfriend. So this is not the first time that it appears that these 2 had linked up. That's why I go back to this child needs intensive care for this to occur. So yeah, this is part of the investigation. But as I said, we're going to see where else this leads us to. I hope to God this is the only child that may have been involved in this, but we got to see where else this goes to.
How important were her friends coming forward and giving you guys? How important was that in helping you guys get to the bottom of where she is?
Yeah, and as I go back to our community assistance from our community has been overwhelming, and that is what was the glue that helped us put everything together. I think it's important, for parents, when you have those conversations with your kids, they're not in trouble. I get it. Kids are going to be like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be the one that, gives up this information. And, it's not. You're actually, please explain to them that you're saving somebody's life. You're actually doing good. And your friend may not believe that. Your friend may, I get these kids are, with COVID, everything going on, the mental health and substance abuse issues are skyrocketing right now. And kids right now, there was a big aspect, the fact that they were at home for a long time. They started coming back together again, but there's still issues that are still have to be worked out. It's going to take years. But for those kids, they want to be accepted. They want to be okay with their friends. And for them, they probably feel like, if I say something, it's going to, they're not going to be my friend and I'm going to be isolated. Well, have that conversation with them and explain that you're not isolating, you're not going to be separated, you're not going to be, a negative against you. You're actually saving this kid's life. And that's unfortunately what we need to see more and more in our society and our country, is that people need to stand up and do the right thing and step up and, put themselves in that position. If as parents we can start teaching our kids that now, we're going to be much better in the future because of it. All right. I appreciate it all. Thank you very much.